following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
On this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., we're going to talk about 2024 PBA Playoffs. We'll tell you who made it and who didn't make it and who we think is going to win it all. Will it be the end of an era? Bolero purchased the Thunderbowl. We're going to talk about what it means for the historic venue. We're also going to talk about some of the recent stats the PBA has been touting and why we think they're full of crap. All that plus the Imbecile of the Week. Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. starts now.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop.
Hey y'all, Jacob Wetrup here.
Jeff Riggles here from 11thframe.com.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Yo, the boys from Straight Up 5, Rad Rob, Dr. Ocho, and of course JP Jr.
Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation.
Strike, and they claim it. Somebody does it!
So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob Francois. Rad Rob Francois. Dr. Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I'm your host, Rad Rob Francois. This is episode 116, and we already have a packed house. Nico, what's going on, brother? Happy 802, you're an asshole. Good evening, Mr. Hera. Del Picard's in the house. What's going on, brother? Derek Michaud, the world's number one Bruins fan. Chuck Ritchie in the house. Looking forward to seeing you next week. What's going on, Amanda? Welcome. Pete Cow, my good friend. What's going on, brother? Welcome, everybody. This is a unique week that we don't have a guest because we've been so guest heavy recently, but we still have a lot to talk about. What's going on, Stang? What's up, brother? Welcome, everybody on YouTube as well. Guys, if you're on Facebook and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. We're approaching, I think we're actually over 600 subscribers now. I think we're like 650 plus. So thank you to everybody that's already subscribed. But if you haven't, please go over to Straight Up 5 Podcast on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. As you know, I do much. Well, I mean, I don't do much, but I do a lot. That sounded better in my head before I said it. Let's bring in our first co-host. He is the man with the ugliest mask in bowling. It's horrible. I don't even know why I don't know what happened to the old one, or maybe he retired it, but it's just, I can see in my little preview window he's posing. I'm gonna see how long it takes before his arms cramp up and he can't pose anymore. Oh, he dropped it. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. That's, didn't last long. At least that's what quarantine lady had told me. He is the resident doctor of Straight Up 5. He is the resident house hack. The worst league bowler in the world, Dr. Ojo.
We apologize to everybody that already left for this ridiculous, horrific monologue that should be a nonologue is what it should be. Yeah, we are guest heavy. We are guns heavy. We are chicken heavy.
Happy birthday, Nicole, again.
And I can keep this pose for all day. I can even pretend that the screen froze because that's what it takes.
Has it gotten bigger?
Why not? And your monologues are really getting awful. Like you start off and you're like, "Hey guys, welcome to." Oh, I already screwed that up. Oh, you're like you don't even get like the first 4 words out. You used to be up to 8. Now you're down to 4.
I thought that one
You're
was
like
actually
short
one of the
division.
best. No, I thought this one was one of the best. Actually, it felt
No, it
good.
wasn't. I guarantee you. I guarantee you that. Happy birthday, Nicole.
You're just
I
upset I gave
guarantee
your
you that
secret.
Nico,
You're
the
upset I
only
gave
one
your.
chatting right now, is upset at you.
No. You're upset that I gave your bedroom secrets away.
Oh, that had nothing to do with it. I've shared that between everybody. Plus, half the ladies on this chat know this too.
Especially Amanda, right?
Rob,
Come on, you have a
show or no?
You know you have a thing for her. Come on, don't lie.
With who now? I didn't even hear you, you fruity ass.
I said Amanda and Nicole. I mean, you're a man of the ladies.
No, they're the ladies of me, is what it is.
Well, it's definitely
Don't
the
you
big
dare
O. It's the big O in your mask.
Smirch Amanda's name.
Can we get the real host in here? Can we get there? He is.
Rob just won't do the show. Like literally won't do the show.
Just gonna come in. Hi everybody, good to see you.
What's up, Johnny?
First shout out.
It's a bad angle, Jeff. Screw you.
Georgie Shore, first shout out. I feel like myself again. Thank you.
See, Amanda said Ocho's a stud. I knew it.
It's been 2 months. Oh, Eugene calling out my 800 nice and early. Thanks, bro.
804.
Check out Georgie Shore for badass haircut. Go to sweetblends.com. That's BLENDZ.com. Sweet Blends. SUI. It's fucking.
No one wants to shout out my 683 from 2 weeks ago. Nothing.
And congratulations to Ocho on his 683.
Johnny, you had what, 823? 820?
No. I popped off an 804 at good old Howell Lanes, where I'm averaging 10 pins less than I did when I was 15 years old. Thank you very much.
Averaging the same as Ocho, actually.
What's up, long
neck? You're a little bit above. Yeah, that's stupid. Like, don't be silly.
And a completely pointless night also. I bowled 300 the second week of league when it was pointless, and 800 the second to last week of league when it's pointless. I mean,
okay.
What are you gonna do? But either way, it was actually exciting. And the best part about the 800 was my dad showed up, and my dad is the one that actually filmed the almost 5-7 split that I left before tipping the 5-pin left and left 7-pin. So it was pretty cool.
See, it's a weak ball. Oh man, see, the stats don't tell the truth.
I did. My ball started to. It was a very, very lucky night. I started with the wrong ball. I did not feel good. I bailed out a clean 238 with my GB4 hybrid. And then on the fill ball, I'm like, we got 2 other lefties on the pair tonight that also curve it. Maybe I can throw good old faithful, my Defender hybrid. And sure enough, I went ring 7, all of them, and 7-pin on the fill for 289 game 2 after the 238. And then front 6 followed by a 6-pin, and then all of them with 8 count on the fill for 277. So no, Dell, I did not. But I did. My only 300 at Howell Lanes this year on Monday did happen with a BBL ball against one of our former guests and 3-time PWBA champion Carson Lukosius. So
3-time.
Like my one claim to fame is like the one time I ever beat her was with the BBL ball.
And they mentioned that on the show 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. But even still,
yeah.
So what were you using Monday night when you shot 804?
A wiffle bat.
I'm just curious if you heard anything I just said. I used the GB4 hybrid the first game.
Said the whole fucking thing.
And then I went to Old Faithful, my Defender hybrid for games 2 and 3.
I'm trying to pay attention to chat. I'm sorry. I get mesmerized by your good looks. I'm looking at the chat. I mean, it's hard to pay attention.
I used to play Defender as a kid, by the way.
I totally get it. I even wore a Brunswick shirt tonight, which is fabulous.
I like it. Me too. Yeah.
Thank you, Nico. Seriously.
Sorry.
It's
so pretty. I can't help
it, my friend. Tino.
Hey, happy birthday, Tino, from last. I think Tino.
Hey, happy birthday, Tino. What's going on, brother?
So I'm ready to dive into whatever swimming pool you've got for us tonight, Rob. Where do you want to start?
However dirty and greasy it is.
It's going to get greasy, but we'll talk about the good. We'll talk about the good stuff first. Let's talk about the PBA playoffs and what you took away from last week. As Marshall Kent had mentioned, it was a taped show, although we did not know who had won those matches. You got to give him credit, John, for putting on a poker face, knowing that when he recorded this, he knew he lost, and yet he wasn't able to say anything. So you got to give him credit for not giving anything away. But he still.
Well, he did just win a different tournament prior, so it wasn't like he had some bad news or anything.
No, true. But I mean, we're talking about, hey, good luck in the playoffs, and he already knew he fucking lost. So I mean, that sucks. It sucks for him. But Johnny, what did you take away from last week?
I mean, it's always exciting, a one-game match to determine that amount of money and who moves on and who doesn't. And I guess what I'm taking so far is there are certain bowlers that are just really, really built for certain formats. And Kyle Troop in there, and they're both past champions of the playoffs. And the friendship between Jesper and Kyle probably relaxes somebody like Kyle and Jesper even more. And obviously Boog, who we've had on the show. I mean, the Final Four is going to be a very exciting Final Four. But what's cool to me is that figure out a way to, like, Kyle Troop's got 2 belts, right? He's going for his 3rd belt. That's Evelyn, by the way. I brought Evelyn to Ocho's tonight. That's what I was trying to do earlier. Sorry, I was late. But there are certain guys that figure out a way to get the job done whenever they need to, whether it's 1 game or 42 games. And guys like Bill O'Neill and Kyle Troop, I mean, those are guys that I'm kind of expecting to do it,
Yeah.
And that's Gabriella. That's not my baby, but she is beautiful. I wish you guys could see her.
Yes, she is.
Obviously, But no, what I'm taking away from it is the matches are exciting. The fans seem to be into it. And the players are into it. It's a new staple on tour, very similar to the way that the World Series of Bowling kind of took off, say, 15 years ago now. So, yeah, I mean, I think that the Final Four there were some surprises, definitely along the route to get there. But all in all, it's going to make for a wonderful Final Four.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Marshall had a tough draw, man. I mean, Jesper was hot. I mean, it's like hockey. You catch a goalie who's hot, right? Or in baseball, a pitcher who's on a hot streak, and they're lights out. I mean, it's unfortunate he caught him on that night, but get credit to Jesper. He threw the ball great every shot. I mean, he was really using that. What was he using, the IQ tour, the urethane?
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say when Jesper is bowling, it's going to be urethane.
That's true. I mean, you're 560
when he's bowling well. I mean,
yeah.
He's the one guy that's figured out how to always use urethane effectively on the left side. I mean, we've even seen, I saw Troy Lint in there earlier. I know Troy's going through whatever he's going through to start the senior tour this year. We talked to Butters a little bit earlier in the year. But Jesper seems to be the one guy that just really, really sticks to his guns and hangs out with that urethane ball. And when you have the highest rev rate on tour, I mean, it's completely understandable as to why he has continued success doing it. What's up, Nicky D?
Do you think Jesper's gonna have to? I mean, everyone's gonna have to adjust, but I mean, he's obviously still gonna throw the same ball. He'll line up in a different shot, but I mean, I don't think it really matters for him where they go, right?
Exactly what in my opinion, I don't think Jesper is ever upset about anything.
Yeah, true.
I would personally love to leave Washington State and go to Florida. I mean, less rain, even though it does rain every day in Florida too, but only for like 15 minutes.
Right.
And now, granted, are you going to say compared to what the lanes are doing at Angel of the Winds and Jesper being the lone lefty? I mean, Jesper's used to venues, he's used to changes, and where they're going in Florida, he has bowled as well as everybody else. So,
yeah,
I think that he's going to be just.
I will say I do like those lanes in Washington. Those are cool looking lanes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when you can actually. They're very pretty to the eye, and everything is visible to the eye. It's a very, very easy lane surface to read. Yeah. I've always felt that way about Angel of the Winds and a couple of the Canadian bowling centers that have similar topography. But yeah, everybody there seems to really, really enjoy it. We were talking to Matt Russo last time he was on the show, and Matt said that he absolutely loves going to Angel of the Winds. It's such a beautiful venue, and they take care of the bowlers there too.
Yeah,
it's always a breath of fresh air when you can be in a casino environment with a bowling center, and the bowling center and bowling center people are treated the exact same way as all the patrons in the casino. And like Brad said, absolutely great there. And the carry there is incredible. Very similar to the Kegel Training Center, where like the guys, if they hit the pocket, it's just implosion every single time.
I can see why the PBA loves going there. It's in Fox, obviously, it's TV friendly. Like you said, it's very visually stimulating. It's easy on the eyes. You got the strike, you got the ball track, which is really, really cool. Yeah, I was a big fan of their presentation. But Skyer says fucking Kissimmee, Florida. I mean, I love Kissimmee. I've been there a million times. But yeah, it's going to be a fun show. I'm so happy for Boog making it. I mean, goddamn, dude, he dominated EJ. I mean, that was
talk about
awesome.
Talk about parlaying your shit, and it was actually really impressive to me. Both Boog and Bill sticking with the 78 hardness urethane hammer on both lanes, despite the difference in lane patterns.
Yeah,
that was impressive to me. I would have thought, as an outsider, from an outsider's perspective, that the 78 hardness ball may not have fared so well on a longer condition. Obviously, we know it's always going to work on short, but they seem to find a nice little groove there, whether they paved the trough correctly in practice, whether the topography allowed for it, but they were carrying the off hits that would otherwise, like more bowling league, and you yank it in the juice. Oh, here's a flat 10, possible 8-10, depending on your rev rate. Right. And they were able to clear all that shit out time and time again. The one thing that I was curious about is, I'm never going to second guess it because he's the greatest talent we've ever seen. I was curious why Anthony threw it back up on the right lane on that show. I was curious. Yeah. I mean, one side of the coin says, hey, he thinks the look is better on that side of the lane. Maybe he watched Jesper or whatever it was. But the other side of my brain says, but they weren't bad on the right.
Right.
And Anthony's the best bowler in the world. I mean, he's like certainly right now the best two-hander in the world. I found that a little confusing. Sometimes I do question why he chooses to do that. I don't think it's the reason he lost, but it was something that I observed. And if anybody cares to comment about that, I'm very, very curious what you guys think. Sometimes I personally feel like it might be an ego thing. It might be but he's not that kind of kid. So like I said, it's confusing to me.
It is. And I would like to pick his brain as to why he did that. Maybe we can find out from somebody if he's talked to him about it. But I mean, it's not that he threw the ball poorly. I mean, he can get away with it. He threw it fine, throwing it back a ball. You should have heard
what Amanda has to say in response to that.
That is a good point. Maybe Simonson was trying to mentally grind the other person, or maybe he didn't want to mess with the right side on the right lane. I mean, that's fair. Either or both. I mean,
like totally. I'm not sure. We'd have to ask him. But it's always cool to see, and it's amazing how up the back he can stay, whether it's back up or regular. I mean,
it's stupid.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. No. It's funny. All the idiots online are like, he can't do that. He can't throw a backup ball. The PBA rules are against that. And like, once you start a tournament, and like, fucking idiots. You can't switch hands during a tournament. If you start right-handed, you got to finish right-handed. If you start left-handed, it's not like.
And even that, I don't think is true in all cases. I think the pros are allowed to actually throw it left-handed.
Or maybe it's USBC. I get the two. I get the two confused. But like, he didn't even switch hands. He just fucking threw it backwards. I mean,
Brad, I'm sorry you had to travel to Waxahachie.
Waxahachie. I don't even know where that is.
But as far going back to your original question, Rob, the playoffs are cool because it's similar to a March Madness tournament. It's you win, you move on, you lose, you go home, and there's a nice payout. There's a nice payout at the end of the year, and it's nice that it's catered to the top 16 players for the year as far as points. And I just overall think it's a cool event, and I like the idea that I believe. I'm actually not sure if they consider this one a PBA title, but either way, it's cool. The same way the Motel 6 Roll to Riches was cool,
right?
It's a cool event. You're putting your sport's best products in the limelight for all the world to see, whether it's taped or not, whether it moves venues or not. It's completely irrelevant. I just think it's kind of badass to be able to watch the best in the world, like really going for it, gunning for each other, and actually giving a shit, working to the crowd. And and best of luck to the Final Four. I'll give you who I hope wins. I have so much respect for all four of the guys that are left, but I got to be honest, man. I think I'm gonna. I want Bill O'Neill again. I keep rooting for Bill O'Neill. I don't know if it's in my subconscious or whatever it is, but Bill was one of my idols growing up, man.
Right.
He was, and he's never changed. He's been the same exact person for my entire life, and he just, the way he started this year, I'd like to see him finish this year. I think the biggest story would be if Croll wins, obviously coming from PTQs to not only that, but now being a PBA champion, the eventual playoffs winner would be awesome. I think Jesper actually wants this more than anybody.
Agreed.
I don't know if he'll.
Well, I think Kyle wants it.
Kyle definitely wants it.
He looks hungry.
I almost think Kyle wants Jesper to win it too, in the same breath.
Oh, hold on, Johnny.
I think Kyle is absolutely. I think Jesper is ready to take this shit home.
Hold that thought, Johnny.
Okay.
Hey, Bug. What's going on, Bug?
Nothing much. How are you?
Good. Live on the phone, guys. It's Bug, David Croll. What's going on, dude? He's at the Springfield Cardinals game tonight. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much. Just hanging out.
What's the score there?
Right now it is 5-3, and they're losing.
That sucks. How many beers are you in?
Yeah. We are one tall boy in right now.
Gotcha. Nice. We were just talking about the playoffs, and your name came up, so your ears must have been ringing.
Yeah, they were.
You looking forward to it, man?
I am definitely looking forward to it. If you would have asked me January when we're bowling the RPI in Vegas, and you had said, "Hey, you're going to be in the playoffs," I've been like, "I will bet you 1,000 to 1," but I'm not. So this year's been kind of unreal.
Yeah.
Dave, what a pleasant surprise, and you've already knocked off the #1 player in the world, so no stopping you now, dude.
Yeah, the EJ match was crazy. I didn't have a 250 look, but somehow it happened.
What was going through your mind? Like you were, we know you're good. We know you're one of the best in the world. You're having a great year, but again, you're playing a guy like EJ, who is also one of the best in the world. What was your game plan going into that match?
My game plan was to just strike as much as I could. It's a 1-game match. Anything can happen. And we were lucky enough to string a couple of strikes at the end.
Well, I was mesmerized by everything, dude. And I didn't doubt your talent. I spoke to you beforehand. I said, dude, you got this. I said, EJ is beatable. And I had no doubt that you were going to bowl as well as you were. What you and Bill O'Neill both stuck with that black pearl hammer. What was it about that ball that you felt confident in on both lanes?
So the black hammer gives me the most wiggle and the most comfortable line to hit the pocket every time. On the right lane, if I leak it right, it's going to come back from it all the time. And then everyone else on the show threw urethane in practice. So it just made a funnel on that right lane. So if I got it inside, it just locked into the head pin. And then on the left lane, some guys threw reactive. I threw urethane. As much as I wanted to get left and chase it, I just knew my nerves would get the best of me and I would overshoot it and I would possibly split. And even going the first frame where I almost hit the head pin, I said, okay, I can't hook it on the left lane, so let's move back right and just up hit it as much as I can and see if we can make it lock up in the front part of the lane. So that's what the black hammer gave me, and hopefully going to Kissimmee, it will maybe be better.
It's a great ball, dude. It really is. You're gonna be bowling the real deal, Bill O'Neill. What do you got for the old timer here on Sunday?
The old timer, man. He's a good guy.
He is.
I have all the utmost respect for that guy. But again, it's a 1-game match. anything can happen. But I'm going to try to do my best, control my nerves, and I'm just going to try to enjoy the moment. I definitely
skip
didn't
the
think
fact
I'd
that
be
Johnny
here.
said he's rooting for Bill. I mean, are we going to gloss over that or no? Can we do that, or is
What'd you
this
say,
too
Ocho?
nice of us?
What's up?
Johnny already said he's rooting for Bill, but I don't know that he knew you were coming on, so I just wanted to.
Whoa! That's out of pocket.
No, I don't know. We can edit it out, but I wasn't sure if we can do that. Rob can take care of it in the editing. It'll make it totally different. No, he was giving an honest assessment. It wasn't throwing shade, but I thought I'd be just the antagonist like Ocho can do, because when you got these, you do whatever you want to. No, but we're rooting for you too, obviously. But no, I just wanted to throw.
I appreciate it.
I know we like to play around, and there's always somebody you root for, but I'm rooting for you. How about that? So you got me on.
I appreciate that.
And you know I am, because we're.
I need more guys in my corner.
Yeah, I'm pulling for you, Berg, since we're best.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Look, it's going to be fun either way. You've had a hell of a year, dude. Johnny had to go have a smoke, so I'll say goodbye for him, but I won't keep you long. Dude, thanks for calling in, man. That was super surprise, and we absolutely appreciate it. And, dude, good luck on Sunday, man. We'll be pulling for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later, dude.
Yep. See you later, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Go get him, buddy.
Bye.
That was David BG Croll going to be taking on Bill O'Neill this Sunday. That was awesome, dude. That was so cool.
I mean, it was a surprise to me. I came in I was adulting. Sorry, folks. Like the whole adult thing. My bad. But Ocho can do that too. It's one of those, what can't Ocho do? Calm the baby down. Everything's good. And I jump back in just to find out what's going on. Johnny throwing shades, right? Rooting for one guy. We got the other guy calling in. Hey, look, man, this is what we do. It's straight up 5. It's
you
not
never know what's going to happen
around the bend or open the lane up. It's called straight up 5.
That's right. That's
when
right.
you curve the lane, you're soft, and you just don't like to be as true as you should be. When you throw it straight up 5, you go hard in. Heads up.
Hello, Chuck from NC on the line. Welcome to Straight Up 5 After Dark. Chuck from NC, go ahead. That was cool of Boog to call in. You never know what's going to happen on Straight Up 5. Like, remember Vince McMahon used to always like, you never know what's going to happen in the WWF. You never know what's going to happen here. We got,
That was a great impression, Rob. I think you should try it one more time.
Goddamn, pal. I don't have it.
You never know what's going to happen, damn it.
Hey, Phyllis, what's going on? Phyllis is looking forward to the PBA 50 next week, as we all are. But yeah, Boog's awesome.
You want to explain to Johnny what just happened?
I listened to the whole thing.
Oh, why are you not hitting me right now?
He was John was remoting. I'm sorry.
Protected.
Dude, he's a fucking class kid, man. I love him so much. We talk all the time.
Yeah,
so
he's coming into his own, and
Oh no, him and Rob talk all the time. I mean,
actually,
we're good friends.
Invoices.
We talk
we're
all the time.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
We're best friends. I mean, he's got my phone number.
We play Super Mario. We play Duck Hunt.
All right, we've set up the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
Playoffs.
We got something that Sperone, motherfucker Sperone here mentioned earlier. Let me pull up his comment. Let me scroll back. God, you guys talk a lot. Fuck me.
We're talking about cash backing.
So,
not
our good friend Johnny Sperone, straight out of Compton, New Jersey. How bad is Bolero going to fuck up Thunderbowl? I mentioned in the opening that they recently purchased Thunderbowl, which obviously we just had the TOC there. It was kind of shocking that came out of nowhere. Like, why did they wait a week to announce it? Were they paying homage to they pay homage to the family when they were there, but it's kind of weird that the timing was kind of suspect to me. What do you think, John?
I've been on both sides of the fence when it comes to Thunderbowl, just like the acquisition of Carolier Lanes and other amazing bowling centers throughout history. And I guess, what I will say here is, first off, God rest Tom Strobel. I mean,
yes,
one of the greatest proprietors the bowling world has ever seen. Let's be honest. I mean, the man cared more about bowling. His entire family, for that matter, cares more about bowling than 99.9% of the people I know. And the only reason I'm leaving that 0.1% is because of people like, oh God,
Patrick, you're right.
Like a John Laspina. It's people like a Doug Kent, proprietors that legitimately live for the good of the bowlers that patronize their business. And so, like, one side of the coin, I say to myself, Mrs. Strobel is maybe done, like, and if you're done and you have 3 different bays in a bowling alley 10 minutes away from Motor City Casino in the fucking heart of Detroit, in one of the biggest bowling communities the sport's ever seen, I'm pretty sure it's a nice deal to give that property to an entity like a Bolero. I think that, like most Bolero centers, a lot of things that traditional bowlers, league bowlers, tournament bowlers love and enjoy so much about the sport, they're going to have to adapt. I hope to God that if they do install strings in that center, that they like leave it in like the party bay, like all the way on the high end.
Right.
But in a place like that, I would hope that somewhere in the bylaws of the transaction that it says something along the lines of, please don't fucking ruin my goddamn bowling alley. Me and my husband did a lot of work here for a lot of years and catered to a lot of people. So I think that the purchase by Bolero is probably because the Strobel family is ready to sell. I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. If I owned 100 and something lane bowling alley like they did, and I was in my mid 70s, late 70s, and my husband was gone or my wife was gone, yeah, I'd probably want to take the money also,
Right.
And always still have the privilege of going to the place that I've called home for X amount of years. So I don't really frown upon the acquisition as much as I normally would, because it's very understandable to me. Now, speaking as a bowler only, without any of those facts that I just presented, ew, fuck Bolero. I hate them. They're the fucking worst. They're the worst. Even though I strike a lot at Carolier Lanes, or Bolero Carolier, and I'm a gosh damn god when it comes to that place. No, I don't hate it. Does that make any sense?
No, it does, and I'm glad you mentioned Carolier, because I was going to ask you to set this up. What have they done for Carolier since they bought it? What have they added? What value have they given to that place since they've purchased it?
Well, they're always busy, Rob. I will say that. I mean, like, I bowl league at Carolier's on Tuesday. We bowl doubles league that starts at 7 p.m. We're done by 8:30, and we bowl on the high end. We bowl from lanes 25 and 6 to lanes 47 and 8, which ends the upper level of Carolier before you head downstairs for lanes 49 through 82. So on a Tuesday, lanes 49 and 80 through lane 80, because they have the bumper pair, are covered by 2 leagues. And our doubles league takes up lanes 25 through lanes 48. Now, this is on a Tuesday. And I would say 2 out of every single 3 weeks that we bowl at Carolier, there's at least 3 corporate parties going on the first 20 lanes. Always. The place is always busy. The drinks are excessively overpriced. People still pay for them. The bowling, the lineage fees are excessive. The shoes are excessive. The approaches are usually covered in like sand, dirt, M&Ms, dog shit, fly poo, like everything you could possibly think of. But somehow they turn business. Again, you can equate or relate some of it to location. You could say that nostalgia plays some points, but whatever it is, the buildings are still there because the bowlers still go there. You may lose a league here and there. Oh, we're going to go to this center instead. They treat us better. They give us better deal, whatever it is. But when it's all said and done, I mean, I guess somewhat to Bolero's credit, at least they're trying to keep the bowling centers and try and instill a different kind of entertainment for the younger generation, which I can respect. I hate it, but I can respect it.
That's fair. And obviously, it being such an established center with the history, I understand why it stays busy. But specifically, I asked you, what has Bolero brought to that center to improve it? Have they done anything to change it?
To me, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
That's kind of where I was getting at.
They got rid of the bar, and the bar at Carolier. Anybody that's ever been to Carolier knows that the bar behind the front desk, say lanes 19 and 20, was the bar. Whether you wanted to race the horse machine in the corner, or you wanted to sing karaoke, you wanted to shoot pool, you wanted to get a drink, you wanted to play Mega Touch and play 11 ball and Tri Towers. You could do everything in that bar. It was big. It was accommodating. It was wonderful. That bar is no longer there. Now you got a bar in the middle of the place and you got a bar downstairs. So right there, you take away at least that homey feeling. You take away that relaxed pub feeling where you can just be with all your friends and do what you want to do. They added the Redemption Arcade. They did all that stuff. And again, I'm not a huge Redemption Arcade guy. Again, I'm not a business owner, but it's more of, I would say it's more like a Dave and Buster's type atmosphere with bowling. So to me, what they've brought is the inability to go and have a place to call home and practice and hone in your skills. And what they've done is they've basically replaced it with another place for people to go and hang out and chill.
Right.
Not a huge fan of it, as most bowlers probably aren't. You know,
and that's kind of where it's getting at from a traditionalist standpoint, right? I mean, it's good if you bring a different crowd in or a different crowd, like, a family, but the fucking prices are so high across the board for all bowling centers. It's not like it's even a family event anymore. Like, dude, we went to a new one here. Goddamn, I can't remember what the name of it was. Main Event. And I think it's a chain. And it just opened up a few months ago, and it's $40 a person per hour. You can't even pay per lineage anymore. You don't even pay per game. It's $40 an hour. And they have all these weird fucking things, like you can play different kinds of games. Like there's different variations of scoring and shit like that. I mean, it's cool for kids. They got the fucking laser tag. They got a ginormous arcade. The food's pretty good, but it's so expensive to fucking go out. And you're talking
like what Sperone just said here in the chat. You know, I was actually just thinking about this. I'm like, I don't have any kids, and I have mom and dad, and that's the extent of my family and Evelyn. But let's say I was married and I had 2 kids, and my kids want to go see, I don't know, the new Avatar or the new Marvel movie. And after that, we go to the movies, me, my wife, my kids. We get a thing of popcorn, a couple bunch of crunches, a couple sodas, some nachos, whatever the hell you get at the movie theater.
Which will run you $50.
That's at least what? I don't know. But it's got to be close to like $100 something, $150. Oh,
all in, yeah.
Too. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And let's say you go see like a Sunday matinee, and now you want to go bowl 3 games because the bowling alley is right up the road. Next thing you know, I mean, not for nothing, the median household income for a single person right now is around what, 65, 70 grand?
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? That's like almost a $500 day to go bowling and go see a movie with your family.
Yeah.
I mean, I get inflation and I get all of that, but it's become very, very difficult to do something you love. Like if I was an ice skater and the ice skating rink was only open on Saturdays and Sundays, how much is it really going to cost me to go around the rink or rent a pair of skates? Oh, this is affordable. I can come here every single day and do this and get better. A gym membership. Hey, here's my $25 a month. I'm paying you less than $1 a day, and I can get myself in shape the entire year. Bowling, it's like, oh, all right. I'm going to spend all of this money, try and get better, to go out on tour and try and beat guys like Simo, EJ, and Belmo. Oh, and by the way, if I'm like top 10 in the world, I make the median household income.
Right.
That's ugly, man. I mean,
and it's been that way for a while, John. I don't mean to cut you off. Like, I know inflation sucks, but they've been jacking up prices for a while. And like Sperone said, on a Saturday afternoon, Friday, Saturday, or premium prices, they raised the fucking prices, which is a dick move, but whatever. But I mean, they give specials on like a Monday night, fucking all you can play $40, for the whole night or whatever, which is, I mean, that's cool. But, and like PD said, what's going on, brother? Patrick Dabrowski in the house. What's going on, champ? That's before expenses. So, but bowling has been expensive for several years now. And it sucks because they're trying to retain, bowlers. League bowling is down. The PBA League has helped, offset the loss of the USBC numbers. But you can't even go bowl a couple games anymore. Like you have to pay for an hour, and I don't think they give any discounts if you don't play the entire hour, which is fucking stupid. Like Sperone says, it's criminal. It really is. It's not a, and we've brought this up before. It's not a middle class sport anymore because
the idea
of
forcing somebody to have to commit to a certain amount of time on the lanes is disruptive in the bowling world because, for instance, I smoke cigarettes. I shouldn't smoke cigarettes. Nobody should fucking smoke cigarettes. My heart hurts every fucking day. My lungs are about to collapse. I'm worthless and useless. So any kids watching, don't ever touch a cigarette, please God. But if I want to go and bowl 3 games, and I don't know, it's Sunday afternoon at 2:00. Game 1, I'm almost 40. Game 1, I'm loosening up. You know, just trying to get the blood flowing. It takes a full 10 frames. I'm going to go outside and have a cigarette, put my shoe cover on. It's a beautiful 75-degree day here in Jersey. Then I'm going to come back in. All right, here's game 2. Maybe game 3, I want to run down to the shop, change out a pair of finger grips, drill a new ball, whatever it is, and then come back and bowl game 3. Like, if I'm going to give you $27 for 3 games, I'm going to bowl them at my pace. I've already paid you for my time on that lane. Whereas the $40 for the hour, first of all, if it's $40 per person, that's fucking insanity. At least Rev Rates at Howell Lanes does it the right way. With each person that's added, the price goes down for the hour. And in a place like Rev Rates, where we only have 5 lanes, 4 traditional and 1 string, okay, I get it. You want to charge by the hour in here? They can play any game they want. They can put the graphics on the lane. They can have the tracer. They can do whatever they want, right?
Right.
So I think
I get that, but in a full house, like there's full houses that do that. Smyrna Bowling Center, which I've mentioned several times, which the PWBA is going there in a couple weeks. Actually, I'm going to go see Nate and Elise. It's a 40 lane house ish, and they still charge per hour. Now I could see it in a smaller center, like a main event, like a Dave and Buster's.
And here's the thing, Rob, is the centers that are still kicking, they're doing just fine. We always see all the horror stories about all the mom and pop places closing. We see this, we see that, and partially due to evolution and the older proprietors' mindsets and lack thereof of evolving, because if you don't evolve, you die in any walk of life, period.
Obviously. Yep, I get it.
I'm still trying to convince my dad that there's better technology than a VCR. And, he's fallen behind. He really, really likes the show Shogun, the old one and the new one. I'm like, Dad, you can watch the whole show right now and just pop it on. I'll stream it for you on Hulu. Right. He's like, no, I don't want to give anybody my information. I got my VCR.
That's so my dad too.
All right, look.
Yeah.
If you don't want to evolve, fine. You don't want to evolve, fine. But it's again, it's a slippery slope. It's a little bit tricky, and I won't sit here and say that the sport of bowling has not tried to gain viewership but the issue herein lies is something that, Rob, you actually sent to me earlier today. You said earlier today you had shown me a clip about the PBA basically bragging about having the highest viewership so far on FS1 via the playoffs. Let me ask you a question, Rob. If you have to brag about people watching your product, do you think your product is not good? And here's what I mean by that.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Who is in the WNBA right now?
I will be honest. I don't watch it, but it would be the chick from Iowa.
Ocho? Do you know? Yes, Caitlin Clark. 100%.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
The most recognizable face the WNBA has ever seen. Because why? Because she does something that not only most women can't do, most men can't do. She can drain a fucking 3 from anywhere.
Right.
It's the coolest fucking thing in the world. She's seemingly normal when she talks. She comes from a good family. She went to a good school. And now she's going to make $73,000 a year in the WNBA and another 30-something million in incentives because she can drain them from anywhere, right? So now the big is Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. Do you honestly believe that Caitlin Clark is going to make the WNBA more lucrative? after, say, a year. Because I was a big Diana Taurasi fan. I was a big Rebecca Lobo fan.
Yeah, me too. Coming from UConn.
You know, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the WNBA doesn't have a product that people watch, comparatively speaking, to other sports. I don't give a shit if it's women or men. I'm talking about the WNBA, comparing it to the PBA. I'm talking about the PBA. And no matter what they seemingly try and do, they're trying to make the public believe somehow does not believe. That's kind of what I see and what I think. And you never, ever, they don't even show you the purse at a PGA event. They don't even fucking tell you. You don't need to know, because you know if you win the Wells Fargo Championship, the winner is getting more than $1 million in the cat. And that's not incentives from Nike and Uniqlo and fucking TaylorMade and NetJets and all these other things, all these other huge companies that support these guys. They bring Buick, Mercedes, they bring the product, and they give the product that makes money more product. I don't really know where I'm going on this rant, but you kind of have like some idea of like what I'm trying to get at. Whereas I think it's a little bit almost childish to try and force it upon the public. Hey, by the way, the most people in history watched the playoffs last week on FS1. Oh, which, by the way, we also started on time because we didn't get booted off by Netflix or not Netflix. What was it? The interviews with the NASCAR race before it, or whatever the fuck else it is.
The qualifier races.
Thank you, Ocho.
I know where you're going with that, and to Nico's point here, he says they're proud of the numbers. They don't think it's bragging. As much as I want to agree with you, I call bullshit on that because
Nico's right. I don't think it's bragging either. I don't think it's bragging.
No. I think it is because it's not the first time they've done it.
This time I have to piss, so don't tell people I'm smoking.
But they're reaching though too. Just
that was a lie.
It was maybe a humble brag, but still,
it's what they've done. It's when they come out with this State of the Union address every single year, they want to say, "Oh, this is what we did last year. This is what we did." Blah 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 blah. Not what they're going to do to improve the sport. They just want to tout
It was almost like one of them meetings amongst the shareholders, and here's the main guy saying like, well, here's what's going to happen, and what we project is this is the scenario. Even though we lost $2 million this year, we're going to then, just to not lose shareholders. It's almost like one of those meetings where they just try to like manipulate the numbers or politic it, really.
Yes,
but it's also too factual because the prize funds haven't improved. And he was saying something before, like about like how golf doesn't like. It's the same old question about what happened. What happened in 1971 when Johnny's dad led the tour in earnings. I don't quote me. I think it was about $90,000, which just in earnings, not in whatever he might have made. And who knows? The sponsors might not have been good either. I don't mean it like that.
I know what you mean.
It's in 1971. That's probably what, $800,000, $900,000 this day and age. Am I close?
Probably.
Yeah. The Johnny Miller was the leading golfer, and it was about 290. It was almost like a 3-to-1 ratio.
Right.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Some guy named Johnny Petraglia just chimed in and said Arnold Palmer led the golf tour that year.
And apparently Johnny Petraglia has a dad named Johnny Petraglia, which is weird.
It was Johnny Miller. See, dude, you don't question. Why they got it wrong. So this is
Johnny Miller.
They're right. Shit.
Led the golf year 217 or 271.
My bicep looks so flat.
I don't know. Skyer said the same thing.
Anyways.
Yes, you're correct. But nowadays,
and the premise was the same. I don't think bowlers were upset about it because it made sense. The golf can bring more of an audience. They can walk the whole course. A bowling alley is literally a bowling alley.
Right.
But what happened, and this is the age-old question of what happened when the ratio became from 3-1 to 4-1 to 5-1 to 7-1 to 8-1 to 10-1 to now 40-1, it seems. And you're still the best in the world at doing it.
Right.
Like when you bring the WNBA in, like that's a brand new sport too. Like that's around what, 20 years now?
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean,
thank you, Johnny.
Wait. Don Johnson was Player of the Year in 71, and freaking Johnny Sr. has freaking 87 grand. I swear to God, I think it was 89 grand. I'm telling you.
Don Johnson from Miami Vice? I didn't know he fucking played.
So, you make fun of that. That's literally what I thought when I first heard of Don Johnson. Like, I'm like, oh man, Sonny Crockett. Hell yeah.
Who the fuck is Johnny Petraglia Sr.?
Go back to one of the very original videos, and it'll explain everything, and explains why. Look, I shouldn't even be here. Why am I here? Because they're attracted to me. They need my life lessons. They need Ocho lessons. That's what happens. And I just happen to, throw big scores with inferior equipment.
That's true. No, that's true. Well, we were talking about numbers, Ocho, and you also mentioned they like to talk about the shareholder stuff. They recently had a quarterly earnings call for Q3 2024, and this is what they put out. This is courtesy of Jeff Riggles. 70 hours of original first run linear programming. Record for most live hours on broadcast in PBA history. That's a fucking gross statement to make. That's just that
yeah.
Really...
I mean, that. Why is that? That's a record because that's easy. I could say I have a
because they had 5 telecasts
20 hours.
They had 5 telecasts in a week. When did they do that in ABC? Of course, they didn't have the World Series. They both fucking once a week. That is a gross.
Your Tom Platt's legs.
Johnny, isn't that a gross statement to make? Record for most live hours on broadcast in PBA history? That's ew. Like you said earlier, that's nasty.
They're reaching. They're trying.
I don't give opinions if I don't have a view on that. I don't know. I'm not.
Oh, come on, get unfettered for fuck's sake. That's what the show.
I have been unfettered for most of the show, haven't I?
No, actually, it's not. It's a very skewed stat. It's one of them.
It's a stat that you would never, ever, ever see in a top sport that also our sport needs to promote to try and engage more people to increase
just to show what the right exactly,
which is fine. I have no problem with it, but it also to me screams. We are not good.
Yeah, you have to look at us because we have to.
You have to look at us.
The only reason we're telling you this is
13 million people watched us over the course of a year on a channel that most people don't get. It screams to me. What's the word?
Desperation.
Desperation.
No, I don't want to say that.
Desperation.
What's the word? Oh God.
No, it's I kind of feel desperation. It's the look at me thing. It's look at me.
Yeah, exactly. Take Boog, for example. Boog has all the rights in the world to brag about himself this year, but he doesn't, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't talk about his win. He doesn't talk about anything along. He's just going out and doing what has to be done, and the shit is happening for him, right?
Right.
Like Zangie said, relevance. I hope I got that name right, Mark.
But if these guys don't brag about
relevance,
it, but if these guys don't brag, if these guys don't say, "Look at me," who's gonna know that Boog won and is And I feel like there's such a tug of war between that.
Look, man, you could be a legend in any sport. Kyle Troop is a legend in bowling. I don't know if he has legend status, but he's a legend in bowling because he does everything correctly. He's good at what he does. He has flair. He's good with the fucking people that come to watch him every single week. He's good with kids. He signs autographs.
Yep.
He's great for the sport. Belmo is an educated, brilliant stud. Anthony Simonson is so committed to his craft. It's beautiful to watch. People that hate LeBron James or people that say LeBron James isn't as good as Michael Jordan. The fact that you're even talking about LeBron James in the same sentence with Michael Jordan speaks volume for LeBron James.
Fair.
One of the most watched videos on TikTok right now is Scottie Scheffler and Tiger Woods on the driving range before the start of an event, and Scottie Scheffler is asking Tiger Woods why there's no divots under his irons. And Tiger's response is, when I'm flushing it, I never take a divot.
A breath.
Ever. And Scotty is so confused by it. We're talking about the Scotty Scheffler, the
No
greatest
way.
golfer
The guy
in the
that's the
fucking
number
world.
one in the world that's winning every
and
other
he's
thing.
asking Tiger Woods why there's no divots on the range. And Tiger's telling him, I can't explain it to you, but when I'm flushing it, I don't take divots.
He's that level.
I just never have.
Yeah.
And to see somebody like Scotty Scheffler, who is kicking the living shit out of everybody, or Nelly Korda on the ladies' side, just kicking the shit out of everybody, to go and still want to seek advice from somebody that they look up to, that's the real shit. That is like, it's so fucking real to me. It's so awesome. Anyway, no, I'm battling again. Here we go.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Getting back to this media rights contract with Fox Sports, like they have to brag, like, oh, wow, we have to tell our shareholders at, what are they, $11 a share? Hold on, let me look what it's at. $11.97.
I mean, they have to report something, so it's not like they can't not report it.
Additional media rights fees from CBS Sports Network and OTT platform, Bold TV, 13.6 million total viewership in 2023, 10% increase ratings year over year, blah, 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 blah. Expanding the PBA League to a season-long event, launch a first ever PBA All-Star Weekend, yada, yada, yada. Look, that's all well and good that they did that. But like you said, it's like, oh, look at me. Look what I did. This is... And like Nico said, like they're trying to pretend that the PBA never existed until they bought it. Like, what about your past history when you're fucking killing it on ABC? What about everybody fucking knew who your dad was and all these fucking guys? Even back then, it's not like bowling never existed, until they got it. It's just kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? It's deceptive. It's a deceptive statements that they make. And
I don't know that they're trying to at least give you something. I don't know. They're trying to give you something, and they're reaching. Let's be honest.
We know they're not as big as the other sports, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
this didn't happen 20, 30 years ago. They didn't say like, "Hey guys, the bowling was watched on." It was on Wide World of Sports.
Well, yeah,
it was on Saturdays, I think, and like it was like a known thing.
And
I would like
to, Rob, real quick.
Yeah,
that's another big one.
We don't know when the hell bowling's coming on.
That's another big one.
Yeah.
Time slot, just like location for a business, means everything. Like when you only had 5 or 6 channels and you went to bowl junior league when you were a kid, your parents would take you, you'd go bowl, have some food while you were there, you go bowl your 9, 10 a.m. junior league. You'd come home, mom would make lunch, and at 3 o'clock on ABC, you turned on bowling for 90 minutes.
Yeah, for spoiled
You turn on, and then after that, if you wanted to watch Wide World of Sports,
barrel jumping, ski jumping,
whatever you wanted, the Jeep Superstars, it was always right there, right?
The fucking dogs. What was it? The
Iditarod, man. The Iditarod.
What do most human beings in the United States do on Sundays between the months of September and January?
Watch fucking
football.
I
sew baskets. That's just me. I'm a crafty guy.
I do the same thing. I actually make doilies.
No, like if it was called Monday Night Bowling, yeah, I mean something like that. Monday Night Bowling.
Exactly.
Shit, it's that simple.
So
put it on Wednesday just to be clever and call it Monday Night Bowling.
Do you think football ratings would be just as high if all the games throughout the year were played at 6 a.m. in England? Now think about that question.
Right.
And in a sport as big as football.
I get up early. I get up early to watch.
56% of your viewership in football, they're still fine. They're still wonderful. But if you take away 56% of viewership in bowling, we lose bowling. We lose professional bowling.
Absolutely.
We don't have that buffer.
You're right. Bowling should never go to the UK.
I also crochet blankets on Sundays, so I'm actually glad you brought that up.
Tom Clark, if you're watching, please don't have UK games or UK events. No one's going to watch it. Please don't do that. It was a joke.
But again, I will say this because a lot of time that I spend on this show is knocking what's wrong, and I don't do anything about it, which kind of makes me a little bit hypocritical. But I will say this:
we do no. Hold on. You do. We all do something about it. We talk about how much we love this fucking sport as well. We don't. It's not like we blast them every single show. We show our passion for this sport every single week. I mean, I think you don't give yourself enough credit for that.
I appreciate that. And going to what Mark just said here, what's the solution? The solution's the same solution it's been since we lost the contract with ABC, and I think the solution is we need to be more available to the public. We need to be more consistent to the public. And again, I know nothing about money when it comes to the PBA. I know nothing about the relationship with Fox, how they decipher which events are on FS1, which are tape, which are on regular Fox, which are on prime time, and all that other stuff. So I really actually don't have an answer for that. The only thing I will say is that the sports elite and the guys that are out there are too good to go unnoticed as much as they are. Kyle Troop, Jason Belmonte, EJ Tackett, they shouldn't be able to go anywhere without being recognized. And I'm assuming at this point, like when one of them goes grocery shopping, they get stopped a few times. But I'm also pretty sure that when they go to Disney World when they're with their family, they're not going to get stopped the same way Shaq would. They're not going to get stopped the same way Mike Trout would. They're not going to get stopped the same way Scotty Scheffler would. Because it's just not there. It's not available readily enough to the public ug throughout the course of the year. And as we've talked in past shows, the biggest problem is we only get to see them. Take Boog for a second, because Boog was on the show. Everybody wants to talk about how many times Boog went Brooklyn to win his first title. Everybody. Nobody wants to fucking talk about how many strikes he threw to make it to the TV show against the best in the world. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that the kid is out there, not exempt, has to bowl the fucking PTQs, beat that field, get into the main field, make television, and then beat the guys that have been doing it for God knows how many years. Nobody wants to talk about that because nobody sees that except the spectators that are in the building, which are usually the people coming to the defense of the player on places like social media. When we watch Tiger Woods, I always go back to golf. Or let's even take Mookie Betts, because he's a bowler and a baseball player.
Sure.
We watch Mookie Betts, depending on where you live geographically or what streaming service you have. We watch Mookie Betts come to the plate 4, sometimes 5 times a night. We watch him hit singles, doubles, homers. We watch his beautiful cannon from the outfield. We get a little bit of intimate time. We get interviews. We get this. We get that. Screaming fans from all that. We get to watch Mookie Betts play all the time. If you know nothing about bowling, you don't know that Jason Belmonte has 7 Player of the Years, tied with Walter Ray for the most of all time. You don't know that Jason Belmonte is barely 40 years old and has more majors than my legendary father has titles. You don't know anything about Jason Belmonte other than the 17 minutes plus commercial break in match 1 if he qualifies 4th. And if he bowls 170, you turn off the television and say, what a fucking joke this game is. Fuck bowling. That's what the normal Joe Blow will fucking turn it off. They'll turn it off. And this is Jason Belmonte we're talking about. We're not talking about a game. We're talking about Jason Belmonte. And it's ugly to me. It's always been ugly to me. And I don't really know. Again, going back to Mark's question, I don't really know the answer, man, because people's what's the word I'm looking for? Attention span is so much shorter these days because they're just waiting for the next best thing. And bowling doesn't have that. The ball still weighs the same. The lane's the same length. The pins are the same weight. What are you going to eat? Okay, change the oil. Give me the tracer on the bowling ball. Okay, so now you're trying to tell me the greatest bowlers in the world. Why? Oh, because they hit what they're looking at every time. Wonderful. What else do you have? It's a little bit. It's a tricky sport game. Red wiffle ball bat meets tour status type thing.
Let me throw this at you then. Keep the sport patterns for qualifying, but fucking wall it up for both sides on TV and let the best man win. Like, let the fucking strikes dictate it. People want to see fucking touchdowns, so they make rules to protect the fucking quarterback and the receivers. People want to see fucking home runs, so they fucking cork the bats or juice the balls during McGuire and Sosa and all that.
It's a great point, Rob.
Even it out. Just let people want to see fucking strikes, right? Just let the best qualify during the week, and then when it gets to fucking TV time, all bets are off.
Dude, do you want to know what tournament I watched the least for the golf tour?
Sure.
The U.S. Open. I watched the U.S. Open the least because, number one, it's the only major and event that's governed by the USGA and not the PGA. And the USGA, and I'm going to call out this guy right now because I love him dearly, and we've had this conversation, so he knows I'm not saying this in with any ill intention. To me, I respect Greg Tack about as much as anybody. But to me, Greg Tack's a little extreme. When I say Greg Tack is a little extreme is in a field of 100 players, Greg Tack wants the leader to be under or even. Greg Tack wants the winner of the tournament to average 200, 10 games. When you take away the ability of the player to that extent that you are literally forcing your entire field, you're not even doing – forget anything other than accuracy or commitment. You're looking for the guys with the strongest brains when you do that.
Yeah, he's a pattern.
At the U.S. Open. They take the par fives and make them par fours, two of them.
Yep.
They turn a par 72 into a par 70, even though the yardage is well over 7,000 yards for the event. Then they go out there and play. And the winner of the U.S. Open is usually 1 under, 2 under, even. And then second place is 4 over. Well, hang on a second. What's 4 over on a par 70 that used to be a par 72? It's actually 4 under. I know that as an avid golf fan. You know that as a golf fan. Golf fans know that. But when I go and I turn on the U.S. Open, I don't want to fucking watch Rory McIlroy be +4. I want to see Rory 10 under, 11 under. I want to see him shoot 68, 69, 68, 70. I don't want to see 74, 75, 72, 71. And then be like, oh my God, he fucking shot 1 under on day 4 to win the U.S. Open at +6. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see the sports elite in the sport that you love struggle.
Right.
Don't want to, no matter how much they say it, and I will fucking say this loud and proud to every single league bowler, because every single league bowler does 2 things. They go to league and they bitch about, this isn't the way they were last week. Oh, these approaches are horrible. Oh, your fucking mic is fucked up. You guys, I hate this fucking building. I'm fucking going somewhere else next year. Fuck all you pieces of shit, because you're all coming back to the same fucking league next year anyway. You're just looking for something to bitch at. Right. Now, let's pretend that bowling alley you go to, the lanes are hard. If the lanes are hard and you're 10 pins below your actual average, not only will you say all the shit I just said, you actually will leave.
Yep.
But if you still average what you normally average or a couple pins over, I bet you fucking sorry ass you're coming back there the next year.
That's
Why?
right.
Neil Feingold, Howell Lanes, has said from day one, I would rather have bowlers bitch at me and hate me and come back because they strike here than have bowlers bitch at me and hate me and not come back because my lanes are too hard. And this is coming from the same fucking people that watch the bowling show and say, oh, I could do better than that. I could do this. No, you fucking can't.
That's
you can't fucking touch these guys. Period.
That's what Chuck just said.
That's a lot of fucks that I just gave in the last 6 minutes there. Can you tell I'm getting a little bit pumped up?
Tremendous amount of fucks. I love it. You're unfettered. It goes to what Chuck just said. You know, when the best league bowlers were 200, 210, 220, and the pros average 225, 235 in tournament. Now the average bowler averages 230 because of the house pattern. And when they turn on the TV and see Belmo shoot 190, they're like, what the fuck?
Absolutely.
So maybe the solution is, like I said, open it wide up. Have the qualifying be normal sport patterns as hard as they are. You get on TV, fucking all bets are off. Wall it up both sides and let them go.
If they're cake on both sides of the lane, then it becomes a carry contest.
Yep.
But nowadays, with the technology of the bowling balls, the sophistication of the lane oil, it doesn't matter if you throw it like Chuck Ritchie or Robert Smith. If you have the right entry angle, you're going to carry. It's no longer like, oh, this guy's more powerful than me. That's not the case. We're watching it with the two-handers. They're dialing it down. Simo, Belmo. Go look at Simo and Belmo 8 years ago and look at them now. Look at Kyle Troop. They're gentle. Zach Zach Wilkins, Packy Hanrahan. Yep. These guys are not like vintage Mike Fagan. These guys are not vintage Tim Mack. These guys are gentle nowadays.
Right.
They're not doing anything super crazy. They're not doing anything that a traditionalist on either side of the lane can't do. What they're doing is committing to the shot every single time and understanding the element that they're in.
Yep.
So
I think the solution is just let him go at it. You know, let the best players.
I like your solution, Rob. Make them easy on TV.
Yeah. Yeah. And
make the $100,000 bonus again for a 300. Bring back the $1 million 710 conversion. Bring back something that makes kids and parents say, "Whoa, this guy just made $150,000 for bowling 230."
We got the $1,000 beer
He's
frame.
5'7" or 5'8" like EJ Tacken or 120 pounds soaking wet like Pete Weber. My son can't play football. Maybe my daughter is not a very fast swimmer. Maybe this is the sport for them. And
dude, you got the PBR 6-pack challenge, you know.
You like what a lot of good things Mark is saying tonight, like what he said earlier, like make it relevant.
Yeah.
Make there be something that holds water that brings these kids in.
Make it easy on TV, and in between shots, they got to chug a beer. That's good. That's a good
one.
Yeah.
If that ever happens, sign me up.
No shit, right? Me too.
Sign me up.
I was going to get into some of the Bolero's numbers, but it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter at this point. It's.
I feel like we had a good enough rant session tonight.
Yes.
I pretty much spit everything I need to, and I would love nothing more than to go play with Evelyn and say hi to Mrs. Ocho and Ocho.
I will do that right after the Imbecile of the Week.
I will mute it. It's time for everybody's favorite segment.
Everybody's favorite segment.
If you guys don't know how to use a seatbelt, just ring your call button and Tommy will come back there and hit you on the head with a tack hammer.
You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
Here's the Imbecile of the Week.
Some people are really stupid.
All right, this comes from my local Facebook group. I had one of these a couple weeks ago. This is interesting. I'll read it out to you guys if for the audio podcast. This comes from the Murfreesboro, Tennessee Facebook group. Amanda Gibson gives her review of the Pep Boys location. 10 out of 10 on the price. $642 out the door for brand new Coopers. Great. 5 out of 10 for the customer service. I interacted with 3 people, 2 of which were kind and professional. Quote, Cabbage, thank you for being helpful. The punky little kid, who was probably grown but looked like a kid, should learn some manners. We had an appointment at 11 a.m. and arrived at 10:45. Sat in the waiting room for about an hour, and when I asked this kid how long it was going to take, he shrugged his shoulders and says, probably another 35 to 45 minutes more. When I asked why, he says, well, we had another car ahead of you that we're just now finishing. So she goes to say, but I made an appointment. And no one thought to tell me that it would take over an hour to install 4 tires? Like most adults in America, I have a job, and if I had known it was going to take so long for 4 tires to be installed, which, by the way, has never taken as long before, I would have made an appointment for another day or another time in the day. Spend some time with Cabbage, young man, and learn some professional courtesy. Hashtag Pep Boys. Y'all should offer this kid some kind of training.
I don't hate Amanda for that post. I don't. I don't like people that feel the need to post about bad experiences they had anywhere. But I don't hate her for that because I'm assuming it's going to happen more and more, Amanda. I mean, the next wave of the world that we live in are people that just give less and less shits about the general public. They give less and less shits about providing the service properly. We live in a very, very ugly world nowadays. And I think that anybody here, whoever the fuck you vote for, can pretty much agree with that. This is an ugly world we live in right now. A very self-centered, I don't want to work mentality, and I don't have to do anything to cater to anybody that does nothing for me mentality. It's very, very ugly.
Well,
so go on, Rob. What do you got?
No, I get that, but number one, she made an appointment during the week when she works. That's mistake number one. Mistake number 2, calling a kid out who says, "I'm sorry, we had a car ahead of you that we're working on." Look, everybody's short-staffed. Doesn't matter if it's Pep Boys, if it's McDonald's, if it's Walgreens, Walmart, whatever. Everybody has to deal with that.
Yeah, I get it.
When you make an appointment, look, I work in trucking, right? So I have a plan for the day. One of my drivers gets held up in traffic. Well, he's going to miss his fucking appointment. Or it's raining. There was an accident. You
All right, hang
can't
on.
make an appointment, expect it to fucking go exactly
Hang on a
the way
second.
you were supposed to.
I get that, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick.
Okay.
If I order a couch that I'm having delivered to my house from Sears or Lord and Taylor or fucking Macy's or I don't know, a fucking furniture outlet, and they say, "All right, we'll be at your house between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m." You don't really get mad because you expect them to be that incompetent, right? When I make an appointment with my doctor for 11 a.m. on a work day, if I walk in there and my doctor says, "Sorry, I overbooked, I got somebody in front of you," and then I miss like my lunch break, I'd be pissed at my doctor. That is, for me, that's not a delivery driver. That's not a UPS truck. That's not that is my doctor. He's there, right? If you have an appointment, you should stick to it.
Well, let me give you an example of what I had at my local Dodge dealership. I made an appointment for an oil change, and it took 5 hours. I could see that it was only the manager and 2 other techs, and there was a lot of people that made appointments, which is fine. Shit happens. It's not like they did it on fucking purpose. You shouldn't go on social media and fucking blast these people about it and give them a bad reputation because your appointment went an hour too long.
And now we can shit on Amanda from Murfreesboro or where the fuck it is in Bumblefuck, Tennessee that you live.
You know what I mean? No, like
now we can shit on Amanda. Anybody who goes and has a bad experience somewhere and then feels the need to go and publicly talk about it can suck my ass.
And that's what I was looking for. That's I love you.
It's gross on both ends. It's gross.
Yes. Like I had to get you there.
I would never I just would never do it.
Right. I love it. I got both sides of you. That was perfect. You played both sides of the conversation.
Ocho's wife is saying, "There's kids watching. You can't say suck my ass."
You could have said worse.
That's why I said ass.
Yeah. Next week, we're going to be in Clearwater, Florida for the PBA 50 where Johnny's dad is bowling. So many pros are going to be there. We have permission, thanks to Jeff Skyers from the proprietor of the bowling alley.
Which, by the way, the proprietor of the bowling alley is my uncle, John Laspina.
You didn't tell me that.
Earlier when you wrote it to me that we needed to seek approval from the proprietor, I just laughed.
You're a dick.
And then I called Uncle John and said, "I'm never going to fucking believe this."
That's hilarious. What are the odds of that, actually? But no, it's cool. We're going to set up shop there.
Got to get Chuck Ritchie in that booth with you.
Yes, we need Chuck. We need Chuck in there. We're going to hopefully get the winner of the tournament. We'll probably set up shop after the step ladder. And dude, Troy's going to be there. Fucking dude, everyone's going to be there. Like past guest Bob Learn's going to be there.
Keep walking by. I unfortunately, I'm still debating whether I'm going to come for a day or two, but I feel
I'm doing Tuesday
some
through
kind
Thursday.
of way leaving Evelyn here alone.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah,
still debating.
But it's going to be fun.
I also have league payout night on Monday and Tuesday, which is like, it's money for Johnny, so I have to go get it.
Gotcha. Well, I'll be there Tuesday I'll be leaving Thursday morning, so we'll obviously hook up at some point. But yeah, we're going to do the show that Wednesday night live. You never know who's going to be on the show either. We're going to have a who's who in the bowling world. So it'll be fun. And obviously we'll get some quotes from your dad, and I'll get a bunch of videos and shit for the show and for the YouTube channel. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to finally seeing you face to face.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Or how tall are you? Face to belly?
On behalf of Ocho, I'll do the flex minus the peaks. Hang on a second. Let me do this the right way. Just give me a moment.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm never going to get this.
God, how do you do this for an hour every single night? I can't even see on this thing.
I can't even see your.
Is this close? Oh,
there you go. There you go. There you go. Wow, you look good. You lost weight. Dude, you got some guns. Those are some guns too. I'm not
I got
gonna
a bigger chest and wider shoulders.
You have a lot of bigger things.
I don't know why I just did one of these. I feel like it might be the mask.
Eddie Guerrero. All right, guys. For the Ocho and the Jono, we'll be back next week for Straight Up 5 live from Clearwater, Florida. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Good night, guys. Love you.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightUp5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Right here on the Rad Rob Radio